Hey guys, Steve Sims here with the Can-Am X3 Max page, here with Nick Bruce at Adrenaline Motorsports. I can assure you guys, I was driving down a Rocky Point, I thought my carrier bearing, I thought my front end was braking, and I thought it was bam, 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 bam. I stopped the car and slowed it down and kept doing it, going at slow speeds, wondering what the hell is going on the radio with these guys, yelling at these guys, my brand new car, my wife's car right here, it broke down. Scared to death. Nick Bruce.
I'm telling him, hey, I didn't build the car. I just sold it to you. But we need to check the front sway bar inlay. And
I go, no, it's a carrier bearing.
No, it's a carrier bearing out of the
carrier
car.
bearing. These things are garbage.
It's falling apart. It's garbage. So, long story short, Steve, you may want to show them here.
We're going to show you right here, guys. If you see this clunking right here, if Columba can get down in here, see this thing? Well, what happens is the powder coating comes loose on these things when they're new, and they start banging and clunking, and you think your front end's coming apart, and it sounds like it feels it in the brake, it feels it in the gas. So you just you take this little cover back here. I'm gonna let Nick explain it, but there's a little cover back here that you pull back, you can put a wrench on that, and then tighten it up here. Is it better to do it when it's lifted off the ground?
That doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So here's the thing. Normally they don't get that loose, all right? Usually they come in the form of an inconsistent popping sound. It's almost a snapping sound, like you hit a rock in the road and it snapped up and hit the inside of the guard inside the firewall there. But what happens is once they get a little bit loose, even a quarter turn, that thing starts making one heck of a clunky sound.
Yeah.
And eventually it ends up loosening like this. Now the good news is the 2019 and newer cars, you won't break a sway bar inlink. I don't think I've broken it yet that I know of.
Yeah, this is a 19.
This is a 19. So it won't break like the old ones would, but it still will start sounding like carrier bearings, front differential, something hitting you in the front end.
You think your front end's just falling apart. It is scary and makes you slow down awful quickly.
Makes you worried about the car. So here's the deal. So this boot, which you probably can't see it, but you got to pull that boot back, all right? I've used a set of needle nose vice grips, okay? I take a needle nose set of vice grips. That's probably a 15 millimeter as well, but I don't never carry a skinny wrench with me like that. And then I'll go in here and tighten with a 17 or this is a 15, I think, on this 15 or 18 millimeter inside, and you got to make it really tight. You can't just tighten from the outside and expect it to tighten. It'll actually slip. Same thing on the upper. The upper will do the same thing. If it's a quarter turn loose, you start to get the snapping sound. All right, so kind of a maintenance deal. Honestly, the first 1,000 miles, you want to check that 2 or 3 times, and then, believe it or not, it kind of goes away after that.
No,
but
absolutely.
Powder coat crushes, and it turns to dust, and then you get that snap, crackle, and pop, or the carrier bearing, or the other things that we hear people saying a lot of times, and that's actually, most of the time, that's a sway bar inlink making most of the noise.
I got 3,400 miles on my stock ones, never changed them on my Max. Still original. I beat the guitar out of that car. I flipped that car. I ride it hard. So 250 miles on it in the Baja and hard miles. Anyways, let's talk. Since I got Nick here, I'm going to ask Nick if he can show us about the rear radius rods. You have a problem with those on occasion. You need to keep an eye on those. We have her car jacked up right now. So let's kind of go over that. Nick's right here. So let's just take a quick look at this. This is something I think they should look at.
So this car's jacked up. We're actually doing a suspension tune on it right now, our Baja tune. But the easier thing to look at is the center bar here a lot of times on the inside hub will loosen up, okay? And that causes a rear alignment problem, a float problem. Feel like the car's got rear steer in it. That's what's going on with it. What I recommend out of the box, Can-Am sells a part through, or actually who is it going to be? Shock Therapy. It's going to be Lone Star sells a clevis through Can-Am that you can put on there. If you got a brand new car, Steve, we need to put one of these on your car for you.
Okay.
But what that does, it stops it from wallering out. As the suspension goes up and down, it loosens up somehow. And now I don't know. Shock Therapy has a kit as well that will if the car's already got a wallered out rear hub, absolutely the way to go. MT something.
That'd be me.
So
mine was so walled out that Shock Therapy said, hey, they've got a problem here. They have an insert kit, like Nick said. If it is walled out, they have an insert kit that goes right in there. It's money. It's not that expensive. Lone Star has one as well. Nick has a great.
We sell all that through Adrenaline here, but
Okay.
that's a Lone Star part for Can-Am through the race department, basically.
Yeah.
Then we learned with racing the cars what come loose.
So
But
make sure you keep an eye on the center here. How do they determine is it loose? How do you
a lot
feel
of times the easiest way to do it is you pull over to the tire and you'll shake it. Now this tire is pretty tight,
it? Yes.
okay? But we'll go to the other side here and double check it. But just lift it up. You can do it on the ground too, but it's a lot harder. But you got a little bit of play in this one already.
Okay.
So we need to tighten that up.
Okay.
So, but you can go in there and tighten it up. Or like I said, I would put that clevis hook in. They're like 120 bucks.
Sure.
The shock therapy version, I'm not sure. It's a couple $100.
Okay.
But it's much more labor intensive than do what we're going to do with the clevis with the Lone Star kit.
Okay.
But I would strongly recommend you watch that and the front sway bar end links.
Yeah.
Other than that, we really don't have any
No
problems with these
problems.
cars.
Yeah.
And these are usually, this shows up at about 800 to 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
The guys who run the taller, much taller, bigger tires have those problems much quicker.
Yeah. Mine at 500.
Correct.
You're right.
Front differentials, real quick, other thing, on rock crawlers in the 2019 XRS, XDS, anything with 172 horse has a smart lock differential in them. I'm personally going to tell you, change the front differential fluid every time you change the oil.
Okay.
The front diffs have a lot of stuff going on inside of them up there. They get a lot more heat in them than they have in the past. So please keep an eye on that as well.
Okay. Well, thank you, Nick, for your time. I appreciate it. It's always good to see you. Thank you for setting up my wife's car to your specs here. This is
No
a
problem.
Fox recommendation, and Nick's has made a little bit of adjustment on it. So we're going to put together a video that we're going to have online with his adjustments, showing also the Fox recommendations. So thank you, Nick. Appreciate it here. All the guys at Adrenaline Motorsports, thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.